Speaking of stuff that doesn't belong in schools, today marked a National Day of Action against bullying and violence. It's a problem that gets a lot of attention, but just because it can happen to anyone doesn't mean we have to accept it.
You know, I was a chubby kid, so I think, you know, that was probably a reason to be picked on because I was different.
It really can happen to anyone. Worldwide, more than 1 in 6 students is bullied every week. But a recent survey shows that figure is twice as high in Australian high schools.
I was verbally abused, I was physically abused, I was tormented on a day-to-day basis, and it also got to a point where it was scary and there was a risk that permanent damage would be done to me.
Young people who are bullied are more likely to show depressive symptoms and to have suicidal thoughts. But despite this, 75% of self-confessed cyberbullies don't believe they have any effect on their victims at all. Clearly, we've got a problem when the perpetrators don't even think they're doing anything wrong.
One morning, I was that frightened of going to school that I just broke down and I cried and I said to Mum, I can't do this.
Increasingly, experts are acknowledging the role played by so-called bullying bystanders, witnesses who do nothing to stop it. So how can we change the culture to make the bullies afraid of everyone else?
Rosie Thomas runs Project Rocket, an anti-bullying school program. Rosie, Project Rocket takes the approach that everyone is somewhat responsible for stopping bullying. Can you explain that for us?
Yeah, that's right, Charlie. At Project Rocket, we're of the belief that if 1 in 4 young Australian students report being bullied, then 3 people probably saw it happen and didn't know what to do about it. So the number one way we champion the issue of bullying is to appeal to everybody in the situation to make it their responsibility.
But Rosie, is it just about them not knowing what to do, or is it just them worried that they're going to be targeted if they step in and try to stop the bully?
Well, you're also right there too. There are some real risks associated with standing up. And the most important thing is that we don't pretend they don't exist, that they do exist. But we actually believe that there are some really safe ways and some cool ways that you can stand up and be part of the solution to bullying without putting yourself at risk too much.
Well, give us some of those ways.
Right, well, number one, as I said, we appeal to a group. So it's all about using the power of the group to not tolerate it. Sometimes it's about showing in however small a way that you disapprove. So rather than click like or lol, or just laugh along if it's a real life situation, even sometimes changing a look on your face can make a huge difference, just to let them know that you disapprove.
So what about online? I mean, that's what most parents fear the most, what grown-ups like us really don't understand that well. My God, I'm a grown-up. That's terrifying. But how does your strategy work online?
Well, it's the same sort of strategy, really. I mean, bullying is a social issue. So when it's happening online, yeah, there are some extra ways technologically that we can protect ourselves. So things like, having a private profile and reporting abuse when you see it happen. But because it's a social issue, we should really have the same approach.
Rosie, in 3rd class, a girl who was giving me grief, I pushed her into some very fresh dog poo at the park in front of a big crowd of people. Problem solved. Good advice?
Foul advice. Look, you know what, that's a good point though. When I was at school, I was told to walk away, ignore it and tell a teacher. The reality is a lot of those, strategies and possibly the dog proof strategy don't actually work. We need to equip young people with the strategies that we'd actually use ourselves so that they're real and in touch and credible so that young people will also use them.
Well, Rosie, it's a great initiative. We hope it works and best of luck with it.
Thanks, guys.